Hi, everybody. You guys sick of me yet? Well, listen, I am very excited because now we're going to have a little bit of fun. The lovely ladies from the last session were right. We've been talking about some pretty boring stuff. First party data, audiences, cookieless future, retail media, all of the good stuff that, yes, we have to deal with on a daily basis, and not very passionate, not very fun ideas. Now we have the pleasure of talking about something super, super exciting and super fun, and that is a brand interaction with none other than the hottest sport in the world right now, which is F1. So I want to start out by introducing the two gentlemen to my left. As a matter of fact, why don't you gentlemen introduce yourselves so that we can get this conversation started and get these people excited about what you guys have done.
Sure. All right. Hey everyone, I'm Acampora. I'm global CEO for Assembly, and we get the great pleasure of working with Lenovo around the globe, but working with Gerald in particular in North America.
Thanks, Rick. Hey, I'm Gerald Youngblood. I'm the CMO for Lenovo North America, and basically cover marketing for the US and Canada for the biggest PC brand in the world, and we deliver smarter technology across the board in a bunch of different ways. So we'll talk about some fun stuff today.
And first off, Gerald, the name itself could be an F1 racer, so I think that's a good way to start. Did we get the sizzle reel up and running with the AV folks? Do we have that? No? All right, well, yes. Oh, you do?
We're excited to be here today, just to be around the energy, the technology, what Formula One and Lenovo can do together is just incredibly powerful.
Lenovo is out here in full force in Austin, Texas for the U.S. Grand Prix, and it's an amazing opportunity to partner with Formula One to create experiences that are really once in a lifetime. We're at the Little Lounge, which is sitting up on third one, which is an amazing location for us to be at to watch the race. So it's a really great time for us here at the goal to be the best sponsor of this race, and we're truly excited to be an overall technology sponsor for F1.
The Lenovo Lounge here at Turn 1 is absolutely incredible. The views, the interior, how we're going to be able to take care of customers and clients here will be awesome. I look at how we are able to utilize most of the aspects of what Lenovo can deliver through technology. All parts of our business, from mobile to PC to server, are in use here, and our expertise. I am totally looking out on Lenovo's representation, seeing Lenovo signs on the turn and right on the pallet and the starting line. It just gives me such a sense of pride. I'm so proud to be a Lenovian, and we get to share this with all of our customers in the world of Formula One fans.
The title sponsorship is a huge change from year one to year two. Lenovo being the title sponsor means that we're included in every dimension of this incredible event. Having that incredible reach allows us to really share our story to even more people.
Formula One moves across 40 weeks. Our equipment is packed up, so it's got to be incredibly rugged and durable and portable, but most importantly, it's got to move at the same pace the race does. So I'm very proud to say this is being done through Lenovo. I think it's a great blend of Formula One and Lenovo together because this is important to both of us. I'm really excited to see where we're going to go.
It was truly unbelievable. It gives me so much pride in our company that we were able to come together like this and share this experience and really just have that spirit of community. There's nothing like face-to-face engagement, and being able to have that face time with our executives up to the highest level meant everything to our partners and to our customers. So it was great.
That's it. Thank you. So listen, it's really easy when you are running a campaign, especially from a branding perspective, to just slap your logo on an event and call it an integration. This has a lot of special meaning and a lot of implications for the brand. So I think my first question is, what made Lenovo pick F1, and what made F1 pick Lenovo? How did this marriage happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and I think, on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward. F1's a very hot, global sporting brand, right? That just screams premium. There's just something about Formula One that takes you to a place that says great technology, really exciting interactions, and then with the Netflix show, right? There's also this whole other audience that was coming into play. But it's never that simple when you have a marketing budget because these things are expensive, and so why make the bet here? And I think it came down to three big things for us. So the first one is getting to new audiences. The Formula One audience is massive, but they're also unique. So their F1 fans are almost twice as likely to actually post about technology on digital platforms. They're 80% of F1 fans believe that Formula One is really pushing technology to its limits. And those are great things for us because, of course, with our technology, we want to make sure we're connecting with innovative brands. I think the other thing, too, is we want to be a part of that fan experience because it's not just about the people at the race. I mean, the Austin race is great. I'm from Austin, so totally biased, but I think it's one of the best races. But it's also, last year, at least in 2023, had the highest attendance. So over 440,000 people physically attended the race. And then last year, about 435,000. But the experience goes to millions of people globally, and that takes a lot of technology. So if you think about having to capture all of that data on-premise, making sure that you have 4K feeds that happen in 20-plus races around the world, and then connecting it back to their headquarters in London and making sure that all of those things are working at the speed of the race itself, it's incredible. So creating that fan experience, and the last thing is actually getting feedback from Formula One, because if we want very strenuous conditions for our technology to really be great, this is one of those work environments for sure.
And how incredible an experience to actually showcase your product as part of the integration. So Greg, talk to me about how your team played a role in all of this and what you guys did to help Lenovo with these executions.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gerald mentioned, the unique audience and that passion point. I think part of that is also to do with the fact that it is a truly global sport. So a lot of the work we did early on was to try and help Lenovo really understand who those people were and how it fit within their existing segments, or add on to those segments as well, and how we could then go and communicate with them. I think we've done a lot to sort of bring the experience from the track, which, if you've ever been, it's an amazing experience, right? But the trick to that is how, if you're there, you actually see it, and you know Lenovo is powering that. If you're not there, you don't know that yet. And so how we help them to do that, either via immersive, out-of-home experiences, et cetera. But I think we have an opportunity to even take that further in how we bring that sort of technology, smarter technology for all, connected to F1, and let people literally get behind the wheel, so to speak.
Darn it, I was hoping we weren't going to talk about audiences, and here we go. So, that said, you've got a lot of data capture at the event, from the event, the engagements that you have with fans. Naturally, when you do a brand engagement like this, we had a panel the other day with Domino's, who does a lot of engagement with the public and ultimately tied everything that they do back to an incremental return on ad spend. So when it comes to actually tracking the investment and the return, and if there was an uptick in actual sales as a result of this brand engagement, talk to us about what that looks like, and if you're seeing those spikes, and if this pays off, because there's definitely that dichotomy of long-term investment and lifetime value of engagement versus that short-term revenue spike that your CFO and your CEO is looking for. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a few different ways to look at it, and really, if you just take the Austin race, and really we do this with all the races globally, but it wasn't just the people physically there, right? So there's a very obvious hospitality piece of bring in, great customers and partners and close deals there. But we do track that. So one of the requirements for us, for anybody attending, was that they record the pipeline within our CRM that each customer represented, and then we track that over time. So that was great, and that helps us, especially internally, when people want to ask, like, why are we doing this versus all the other things we can do. But we didn't want it to end there, because the great thing about Formula One is this is not just a B2B, right? This is also a B2C customer engagement. There's an F1 video game. There's I mentioned Netflix, all these things. And so, in addition, we worked with Rick's team on our media plan. So we had media activations, which we've changed. You've got digital out of home. You've got things you can do in the airport. You've got things that you can do around the city. And then you've got this echo of all these other F1 customers, either talking about it on Reddit or other platforms. And so we measured that as well. The other thing that was really great for us was to work with content creators. So more from a consumer standpoint, bring in great content creators that are huge on TikTok or Instagram, and have them experience and even create custom experiences for them. So we had over 17.5 million video views just on the content creator content, another 30 million views on our own produced content, 90 million plus impressions. And then I think what was really interesting was we also wanted to make sure we were innovative. So at our title races, the cool thing is if you're the title sponsor, you get to design the trophy. And so we got a chance to design the trophy and put tech in it. So it's the world's first KISS-activated trophy. So when the winning racer actually kisses the trophy, it lights up in the color of their flag. And this is so fun that like ESPN picked it up and decided that they wanted to do a montage like pre-race. So their social team came over to our Lenovo lounge and actually did a bunch of B-roll. So my main philosophy on marketing is like the worst thing you can be is ignored. And so we really went in and went in really heavy to make sure that we took advantage of the moment and even have a deal with the Americas, the racetrack, so that we could build an extra structure, we could have more people there, and we could really echo that across to other people. So there are a lot of ways that we measure ROAS. One of them is pure pipeline, and then revenue generated, which I can tell you these events have been very good for us for that shorter term, let's say, near-term impact. Sure. And then broader, I think it's really powerful for our brand.
So hard to ignore. So definitely noticed. And then when Gerald mentions the media buy, so talk to us about how you surround it then in an execution like this.
Well, I think the sort of obvious part is the city that it's in and surrounding the event. One of the things that we did and worked with Gerald's team on was, and frankly with each region of Lenovo on, is the journey, so to speak, for that event, and understanding where people are traveling in from, and really getting from, Joe mentioned airports, et cetera. So really communicating with them the right timing leading up to the race and across that journey to the race, and then weeks after the race, how we're bringing together content and bringing that, amplifying that across. So there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of the data and audiences understanding where they are and where they're going to be. So that was a big part of it, and I think when it comes to ROAS, I think it's sort of a full funnel measurement approach, right? I mean, we've got awareness KPIs that it's delivering on, and there's big, bold, splashy out-of-home things that drive that, right? But we've also got sort of mid-funnel metrics that are more around premium and some of those passion points that drive consideration. And it's moving the needle on that. We've got Lenovo brand trackers, we've got Assembly brand trackers, where we're actually tracking all of that and we've seen upticks. And then all the way to your customers and conversations and sales. So it really is sort of across the board.
Yeah, I love every part of that, and yes, we are going to go a little nerdy. So, there have been several panels this week really talking about that conversation that I alluded to before, which is the CEO, the CFO, who are quantifiable, metric-driven, and then you've got that CMO who's talking about the branding, the awareness, that long-term vision of a relationship with a person, creating loyalty or affinity to a particular brand. Now, obviously, you look at the sizzle reel, there's a sizable investment. You're literally building structures next to the racetrack. So what what makes, especially in such a weird economic time right now, where there's so much volatility, how does that conversation go in that office where, you're talking to the CEO and CFO saying, we've got to do this? Is that an easy sell? Is that a hard sell? Is that something that you've got to pitch in with kind of some predictive analytics, predictive modeling of, what revenue could look like as a result of an engagement like this?
It's always a hard sell. So, and there's nothing easy about it, but what I would say is you want to make what you do very impactful, right? You can't just spend the money because, hey, there's a big brand, we're going to throw a logo on it. It's obvious, right? It's like, just do a Super Bowl commercial. Everything's fine, right? So we worked really hard. This was our second year this year to do that raise. We worked really hard in the first year to force the metrics at the beginning. So I can say that not every event that we did prior to that did we require a pipeline. Did we do extreme diligence on who was coming and why, internal and external. That we didn't, really work with Rick's team in terms of a media mix that made sense and make some trade-offs. We were fortunate in that the first year performed really, really well without the title sponsorship, by the way. Performed really well, so we were given that belief in the second year, and I would say the second year was easier. But the other thing that would probably shock people is that the second year was actually less expensive because we had more partners that were excited about being part of it. So we really did lift our alone at first, for the first year, and then had more investment, I think, from partners that wanted to be part of the experience. And so, and I would also say consistency breeds value. So starting anything from scratch and then stopping it, having these one and done campaigns and you never do it again, I think that's really challenging, but I think the consistency, you learn how to do it more efficiently. You learn what works. Our CPMs went down 5%, year over year, when everything else is more expensive, right? Because we learn things. And so we'll get better next year doing this. And it's even more sellable because people are really into it. So yeah, it was a hard sell because it feels like vanity, right? Because of that's what it seems like. But when we were able to really put together a 360 plan backed by numbers, it helped us. And you got to make those calls. Not everything made it. Let's just say.
I think you've also got the world we live in today is one that is, you have to operate at two speeds. You can't operate at a long term or a short term. It's got to be both at the same time. And so many clients and brands are asking, why isn't my brand performing? So you've got to deliver a connected experience across all of that to actually make the brand perform. And in this case, that's what was the work that was done up front to make sure that we had those metrics in place to say, this is both speeds.
Yeah, so we don't have a ton of time. I definitely want to leave some time for questions. You look at a sizzle reel, it's undeniable, flawless execution, and I know there are definitely things to learn. From an outsider looking in, wow, how much work went into something like this? So, we've got a lot of marketers, and your team is here, so it's going to be an interesting answer from you, Gerald. What do you look for when you're building out a team to execute on something like this? You mentioned building out the trophy. You mentioned all of the different executions that you have, the agency that you select in order to enable a lot of the media placements. What goes through your head when you start building out that team to make something like this happen?
I think Rick mentioned it at the very beginning. This is a really omni-channel, all hands on deck type of situation. So it was the physical events team, it was the media teams, it was social, it was content creator, all that. But those are the technical pieces. I don't think it's just me putting together, assembling the A team or whatever. I want to make sure that everybody has the same vision and they believe in it. Because it was really hard. We had over 200 people, and these were C-level executives of all the demands of things that they needed and ways that things need to be done. A lot of things happen after hours, a lot of things happen at the last minute. And so at the very beginning, the team had to believe that this was going to be something that was going to be really important for the company, and that it was something that's going to be really important for their career. That sizzle reel is about the team. It's not, you know, talking head up there for a minute, but like, that was really about the team. So we had to give them a vision that they could believe in and the air cover to let them make decisions. They made decisions, right? So, you know, they would come to me and Rick for things when, you know, they needed us, but we just wanted to empower them and just put together a team that was really passionate and would go that extra mile, believing that this outcome could be it. Because if it goes wrong, we had our CEO, all of our top executives were there. If something went wrong, trust me, this would be a very short panel.
Greg, anything you want to add to that?
I think, you know, from an agency perspective, when you have something like this that comes through, you really want to make sure you've got the right expertise, but also the right passion. And Gerald sort of mentioned it, but there's a like-mindedness around it and a passion for it. And we were fortunate to have a group of people who were very and are very into F1 as a whole, and that came through in what we were doing with Gerald's team and activating it. You know, and then I think there's this other aspect of it is just showing up for each other. And you know, Gerald has a team, his assembly team, and his Lenovo team who want to show up for him and with him and make the best thing possible.
All right, so I've got two more questions. Gerald, the first one is, we've got a lot of marketers here. I often ask this. You're an industry veteran leading one of the biggest brands in the globe. What advice would you provide to someone either just starting in the business or someone who's been in the business for a little while? What wisdom could you impart on someone that you wish somebody may have told you back in the day to get you where you are today?
Yeah, like I've learned from many mistakes. But you know, I think the first one is that everybody's equally powerful. I think people get a little too caught up on titles and, you know, ring fencing, you know, who gets to be the idea person. You know, you can be a leader in any seat, and I think that that's really important. And the creativity that we're going to live by is really based on diversity, and that's diversity of like backgrounds, of you know, where you're from, how you grew up, but also there are great ideas that are going to come from maybe more junior members of the team. And there are great ideas that are coming from senior members of the team. So I really believe that everybody's equally powerful, and if you give people that voice, then they'll be able to do really incredible stuff.
Love it, Rick.
I guess two things, and a couple of two anecdotes. But I originally went to grad school for clinical social work, and realized at a certain point that was not sustainable for me. But what it did teach me to do was really listen, and listen with empathy. And frankly, it translates. I think I'm able to do that in our jobs, in our career, for our teams, and for our clients. And I think that's a really important lesson, sort of listen more than you talk. This is you're talking. The other one is that I was actually painfully shy when I was younger, painfully shy. And believe it or not, the first job that I had was selling door to door. And I wish that experience for every single person in this room, on my team, etc. Because it taught me so much. It taught me how to protect sort of my own mental sort of psyche and sort of keep charging. It taught me how to read people very quickly. Who should I just leave? Who should I stick around and talk to? Who should I change my whole dialogue for? Because I have a sense of who they are and what they want to do. And so I think it was invaluable. And I'd say the advice there is ring a lot of doorbells. Like, you got to ring a lot of doorbells, have a lot of conversations. And it's not about selling. It's just about making a friend. And if they want what you need, what you have, great. If not, you make a friend. Ring a lot of doorbells.
I love it. So next one, easy one. Not allowed to name anything that you are personally responsible for or associated with. What at CES excites you most?
I feel like the default answer should just be AI.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard there was a car that when you like that was co-designed by will.i.am that like actually audio changes when you speed up and like the bass kicks in. I've always wanted my own theme song that just like happened magically, right? So I'm excited about that. I feel like there's so much innovation, but when innovation and like creativity come together, that's the good stuff.
Yeah, the Mercedes is absolutely insane, and he was here to talk about it. It was absolutely out of this world. Greg?
I think it's a tough one because I think in many ways the value of CES is like here, right? Being able to be with clients, spend quality time, and go through some of the stuff together. But some of that health and wellness stuff is jumped out at me, and I in particular, there was some infrared technology and a sort of a bed-ish that you sit in, and I was like, no way, that doesn't work. Come on, what is that? And I laid down the thing for like 10 minutes and immediately felt an impact and a difference. So I think health and wellness is an important area, an important topic. We have certain clients in this space, and I think the advancements there that are directly both B2B and B2C are pretty good.
I'm going to need that because I'm such a fat ass. I'm the only one that likes the automatic ice cream machine, and the countertop smoker, and like all the food stuff. I'm like, yeah!
Where do you think I was taking that Mercedes?
All right, there we go. You come to my house, and I'll have my robots make us a meal. All right, let's open up some questions to the audience. We've got some fantastic people out here. Who's got some questions for Gerald? We've got one in the back.
Sure, I'll just be loud. My name's Max from AppStop, and I wanted to know, Gerald, two things. Number one, how are you guys leveraging in-game advertising in your marketing strategy? And also, I'm curious, being from Austin, Texas, are you a Franklin's guy or a Terry Black's barbecue guy?
I'm going to answer the second one first. It's Blacks.
Okay.
I'm a purist. Yeah, so in-game advertising, we work really closely with Complexity, the esports team, and we actually have a co-branded car in Rocket League right now. And so it was good because it's what the team uses. It's basically like their uniform in Rocket League, which is really nice. We have looked at other in-game advertising opportunities. We have to talk about some this week, and so yeah, we're looking at other opportunities, but we want to make sure that honestly, like the metrics and give us what we need to understand whether it's working or not. But I see a lot of opportunity there.
Anybody else?
So, obviously a massive brand, massive global effort from a creative platform perspective all over the world. I'm curious how you adapted your creative platform specifically to achieve all that ambition that you started off with as to why F1 was right for you in the first place, and how that really corresponded with your always-on, global efforts that you're pushing on a consistent basis.
Yeah, great question, because it's really, we also make a lot of products, and we have a lot of sub-brands, right? We got ThinkPads and Yogas and ThinkStations and Motorola cell phones and all that. So one of the things that was a big focus for me was to focus on the master brand. And then once people get to know the master brand, they can self-select into the things that make sense for them. And I don't think we could have really pulled off Formula One in the same way if we were so focused on our sub-brands. So we really wanted to focus on the master brand, and then beyond that, technology, innovation, and citizenship are things that really drive our messaging across the board. And so we wanted to make sure that Formula One was still authentic to those things as well, right? So the technology is obvious, the innovation, I think, screams, with Formula One, but even citizenship and our partnerships, we look at, how do we do this in a sustainable way? What are other things we can have in terms of a positive impact? And so that fits into the narrative, not just the Formula One piece.
I think smarter technology for all was that you had that before an F1 fit, right? So there was a sort of natural progression from that. And we've done a lot of work together to help Lenovo shift from a very product focus, which could become the default, to a more master brand audience-led strategy.
I have a world-class agency partner who will be there in the trenches with you. I mean, Assembly's been incredible for us, and it really feels like an extension of our team and our brand, and they challenge us, which I appreciate. It's not an execution thing, it's really a collaboration, which is fantastic.
What a vote of confidence, I love it. Well, thank you, everybody. Oh, one more?
How do you think about localization and translation? Because we're not just English, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, localization, translation is critical for us. We operate in 180 plus markets, and so it's really working with the worldwide teams to make sure that we translate what makes sense in multiple places, but we also transcreate, right? Because as a geography lead for North America, my needs are going to be different than my counterparts in EMEA and Latin America and in Greater China. So we have to start with it from the beginning so that we don't have to do a ton of rework after the fact. So the global teams really listen to and work with the geographies on that.
Just a shameless plug, but we have a group within Assembly that is very focused on something we call performance linguistics. So it's not just about translation and localization, it's about the right words that actually data shows will perform. So you get the best translations possible, and we do some of that work with Lenovo across EMEA.
Love it. All right, gentlemen, I am absolutely honored to share the stage with you. Thank you so much for bringing us such an incredible execution. Obviously, job well done. Hats off to you, to your team that's here today. Thank you so much. Safe travel back. And now I'm hungry for some barbecue.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.